I'm Rasnades. I'm from Brumdus like Triller Jermaine. You might know my face on the music game, but right now jumped in a podcast game. Keeping it real, that's the aim. With no rumors, no hearsay, just real life guests. Vibes in the way, and all of the hot topics in the U. This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning. Let's have a reason. This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning.
Greetings, people, and welcome to the Reasoning Podcast. I am your host, Rasnado. Today we got a special guest. This girl, I've known her for a while, you know. She's very creative. She come from very humble beginnings. She first came onto your screens on Benefit Street. And from there, I've kind of seen her progress and move forward in a good way. Also, she's here to discuss like issues like with the youth them because she's a mom. And obviously there's a lot going on right now, we know, with the youth them on the road and the guidance and, you know. So she's here to like speak on that as well, on the effect it has on the mothers when the kids get into trouble, stuff like that. So my guest today is Dillion, or SB to the world.
Yes. SB to the world is there.
All right. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure, So, on my show, it depends who I've got in here. I tend to kind of bring it back to the beginning so the people can get a gist of, you know, like where you're coming from. So I think I'm going to do that with you as well. Because there's going to be people who know you and there's going to be people who not.
Yeah.
So if you bring it back to me like base, like, where was you born? You know, schooling, parenting, how was you, you know?
Yes, cool. Yeah. So hi guys, it's your girl SB. You get me there. Where do I start? As you said, let's go back, way back. Born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, you know, best era out there. But originally I'm born and grown in Ladywood all day, every day. Okay. From Ladywood, I'm the oldest of 5 children. Yeah. 2 sisters, 2 brothers. Okay. I went to St. John's Primary School. From then, I went to Cardinal Newman.
Okay,
down Bearwood. Shout out to all my Cardi's gang, you get me? Yeah. Then from there, that got shut down.
Yeah, I remember.
Went Four Dwellings.
Okay, yeah. Everyone from there went Harbour and Hill or Four Dwellings. Yeah.
Or Hillcrest, some of the girls went Hilly. Yeah. But yes, Four Dwellings, another all right school. Was there for 2 years. Before Benefit Street, I was actually on GMTV.
Okay.
My mum was, so we're taking it way back.
Okay.
But yeah.
So was your mum like a presenter on there or something?
No, they was doing one documentary in the area.
Okay.
And again, my mum was just involved.
Okay.
And then we just got, it was just on there. So I remember going to 40s and everyone was like, oh, so you're not 40s, Cardi's. Everyone, oh, so you're on the TV this morning. I was like, yeah, it's the beginning. Yeah. So from there, I said went 40s. Left 40s, got into a relationship, as you do at a young age, 15 to 21. That was in a domestic relationship where I spoke about that on Benefit Street.
What, like, it was a physically domestic
Yeah, physical domestic violence relationship.
So you went through that.
Went through that for about 6.5 years.
Okay.
Then...
And how did you, sorry to, I don't want to be on a touch, but how did you come out of that?
Oh, how did I come out of it?
Yeah, just for the women out there, because there's a lot of women who suffer.
No,
from
definitely,
that kind of
and I
thing.
did speak about this
out of it?
On Benefit Street. But yeah, I was working at a company in Aston Business Park, and one day my manager just gave me the keys for work. Yeah, and she trusted me. She was like, "You've been here a long time. I'm giving you." Some responsibility. Here's the keys to work. I want you to open up the next day. So I'm like, cool. That morning comes now. My baby father just started going on away. Basically beat me for about 12 hours that day from 7 in the morning till 7 in the night. How I got out of it was I went to work the next day and basically my manager and that saw like my bruises and was like, no, this is enough. And then called the police and stuff like that. And sometimes I think to this day, if it wasn't for her, would I still be there?
So so that's what I was gonna say to you. So before that happened, like, I don't want to say like why wouldn't you leave, because I know about them things. When you're in there. But what do you think was stopping you though? Like what?
I feel like I wasn't ready. People ask me this all the time. What made you stay? And I feel like no one can leave that relationship until they're fully ready. My mum told me to leave. My sisters, everyone told me to leave. And I feel like you just have to really find that inner strength too. Because I left many times and went back. Oh, you know, you hear the look of sweet words and you go back, and then when you have a child with that person, you kind of want it to work for the child's sake. You know what I mean? Especially being a black mom in the the community, you kind of want to give your child that mum and dad in it. So that's what I tried to do. Didn't work out, and I eventually left. And then when I left, it was just all about trying to find myself. Had my daughter.
So did you that with the same partner?
No, with another partner.
So did you get into that relationship soon after?
Yeah, probably about a year after I got into that relationship, and I feel like up to this day, I feel like I got into that relationship a bit too quick.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's all I knew.
And it can be like that as well, because if you've just been through an ordeal like that, and then someone comes along and shows you love, you get me? Whether they're disguising it or not, to you're vulnerable at the moment. So anything, like you're gonna be like, yeah, you know what I mean? I feel this I want to feel
this
for a long time.
This is how I want to definitely.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I get that.
And he had a lovely smile, and that's what attracted to me to him.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I mean? And again, as I said, he had my daughter.
Yeah. And
then that relationship lasted for about 2-3 years. Then went to Winston Green, and that's where Benefit Street kind of came along. So, from there up to Benefit Street, yes.
Sorry to cut
problem.
you before we get onto that, because we're going to get onto that anyway. So, all right, you left your relationship now. So, is this when you've moved on your own now? You've moved to James Turner Street now?
I moved...
Which is obviously Benefit Street.
Yes, once I left my second partner, I moved to Eva Road, which is around the corner.
Around the corner, okay.
James,
on Eva Road,
I was
the next road to it. Yeah, I know that.
That's why some people call me a Fordster.
It's still the same thing, man. All around there, all around there. You don't even know what road you're on when you're around there. Even I get lost around there, and I've been going around there for the last 25 years. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, Benefit Street. Now, if people don't know what Benefit Street is, the most people from Birmingham and around the UK, they didn't know, because it was nationwide.
I've had people from Australia.
Yeah, no, definitely worldwide, definitely. But for those who was under a rock, Benefit Street, was like to keep it simple, was just a live documentation on Channel 4 of the deprived and under wealth. I'm not going to say poor. I'll probably say under wealth area in Birmingham. Yeah. But it's just based on a road. Yeah. It's got area, but it's based on this main road, James Turner Road. It's obviously called Benefit Street. And obviously, you just documented over a number of weeks, documented the lives, different people, went into everyone's lives, and went and saw the struggles of people in that area, which is Winston Green, obviously deprived of loads of things, resources from the government. It's just deprived of a lot of things, which is the way it is. So it just goes around showing you these people, and it's interesting. It was very good. It was very, very good. You get me? Because what I liked about it wasn't about colour. Yeah? It wasn't about colour. It was about a community, which it was supposed to have been. It wasn't supposed to have been about people on benefits. It was actually supposed to be about a community spirit. So it's not until this whole government thing came into play about benefits, Rest His Soul Fungi apparently came up to the producers and was like, why don't Fungi we passed away? Yeah, 2009, bless him. So apparently he came up with the name Benefit Streets because 90% of the people on James Turner Street was on benefits. So they kind of ran with it when really it was supposed to be community spirit, about a community that apparently that they've heard, that get along and do things basically together or look out for one another. But I think it first came about through Black D. I think they approached her somewhere in London
probably about 2-3 years prior to the show.
Yeah.
So they didn't know that they asked her, you know, would she be interested? And I think she just said yes, not thinking there was gonna go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
About 2 years later, a production team knocked her door.
Yeah.
And was like, you know, it's us, you know, we're doing this thing, are you interested? And I think obviously she said yes. And then I think a day or two, I must have came through the door and saw these people in her house. And she introduced me like, oh, this is SB, you know, she lives in the area. She's, you know, starting her modeling. Mm-hmm. And then they just asked me like, will you be part of the show? So I was like, to be honest, I don't know much about the area because I've just moved here.
But...
you know, and then it was like, it's okay because you can have your input as a new resident. How are you finding it?
Yes.
So that's how I got about on Benefit Street. They filmed us for 18 months.
Yeah.
They filmed Benefit Street they filmed me at work because I used to work in a Caribbean food shop called Talk of the Town.
Yes, I remember.
In the city centre.
Yes. That was when it used to be by, you know where the old time where the Argos and that is in it? The St. Martin's Square.
Yeah, still there. They just opened back over there.
Okay,
they're still there.
I know you're talking.
Yeah.
I know you're talking. Yeah, C used to go there.
Yeah.
C, right, used to go there. He did.
Probably knew you when you was younger.
He did. C used to go there. He
I've been there for about 10 years.
There.
And I worked there when it kind of first opened.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, and then from there as well, people would recognise me from working at Bing's, you know.
Yes,
you got Bing's,
you
get me.
Things, yeah.
Both shops.
You went at both shops?
I worked at both shops, yeah. So big up all my Bing customers.
You got Father Bing, you know?
You get me.
You got Mina and
you get me. Zika and Lana.
Yeah, Zika.
Miss P.
Everyone round there, you get me?
Yeah, man.
What, keep the thing flowing, car. Yeah, it's still going strong. Big up Bing
Trust me, he set the trend.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, they filmed us for 18 months. The show came out and I got a lot of great feedback from the show. You know, a lot of young girls reached out to me and was like, oh my gosh, your story was amazing. You know, the fact that you even still wanted to be a model.
Yeah.
You know, how do you get out of that domestic violence relationship? Mm-hmm. You know, so I've had a lot of great feedback since Benefit Street.
That being said, now, you said something I was trying to get onto next, which I know this is something that which the first thing I noticed, is the modelling thing. So how did that come about? Because you know what's mad, you have got a modelling, you know, your facial structure and everything, and you have, and like when you put heels on, you're tall for a woman, you're kind of tall, so you got that, you know, That so how did that
Naomi
come about?
Campbell. To be honest, I got scouted when I was 14, but throughout the years prior to that, I always got told, you know, you should do modelling and stuff like that, but I didn't know what modelling really was. Obviously, the older generation knew, but I didn't really know what it was. So it's not until like I was 14 and I got scouted. And then I went to the Novotel Hotel up Broad Street and I had some big casting show there. And then I got like through to all the rounds. And then it came to taking the pictures and paying for the pictures. But back then it was proper expensive. Mum couldn't afford it. From Ladywood.
Yeah, real, man. Come on, man.
You know what I mean?
Real
like
there,
the
man.
P weren't there.
I'm
So
the mod, man.
you get me? The opportunity was lost from there. As I said, I got into my relationship with my son's dad. Couldn't really pursue the modelling career because, you know, I was getting beat and I wasn't allowed to wear certain things. So that just kind of went out the window. I always thought about it. So I always used to watch like American's Next Top Model, Britain's Next Top Model, watch practically every season and just thought, oh, I wish that was me. You know, I can't wait. It should have been me. And then what did I do from there? Got scouted. As I said, got into my relationship. And then, as I said, Benefit Street. And then since then, I've just keep doing what SB does. I've been working from food shops to food shops, you know, working hospitality. So I work at Cheltenham. If I'm not on the runway, I work at Cheltenham, Aston Royal. You know what I mean?
And you see, you're modelling. Have you done any modelling for any big names?
Yeah, so I've modelled a lot for Black Beauty magazines. I've got a lot of hair magazines, hair shoots in there. I've been to Milan and modelled for Jules Eyes, a company in London, and Barcelona. I've been to Paris to do like auditions. So I've booked my own flights and everything to put the work in. You know what I mean? Like if you don't put the work in, it's not gonna do it. No one else ain't gonna do it for you. So I've been there. I've done acting as well on the side where I'm an extra. Okay. So the modelling. Okay, so with the modelling as well, I've done runway shows, London Pacific Fashion Week, Black Woman Colour. I've done. So you've done quite a bit. I've done bits still throughout the years. People always say to me, "Oh, why aren't you further than you are?" But I always say to them, you know what? God's got my path for me, whatever God has for me. And I'm a woman as well that's gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. So my kids come first.
Yeah, of course.
So as much as I would love to be further, I've also got to make sure that, as Lauren Hill says, you've got to be right to be within. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to be right to win. So it's just like, how can I not get up and just keep striving for the kids, you know what I mean, and for myself?
All right, I got a little fun fact here to you, what people don't know. This is mad still, but you have been a body double for Beyonce in the Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. I
have indeed, I have, and that's crazy because
that's nuts.
Trust me, when I got the call, the email to say, we would love you to be the body double of Beyonce. I'm like, me?
How did that come about though? Like,
I'm with a agency called Casting Collectives.
Okay.
So they kind of find me my acting work and probably like commercials and stuff like that. When it comes to my modelling, I'm freelance. But like acting and commercials and certain things like that, I get through Casting Collectives. So with Casting Collectives now, they emailed me and was like, we feel like you fit the description for Beyonce's body double. So I'm like, me? They're like, yeah. I said, I ain't got no batty, I ain't got no breasts. Like, she's all, you get me? I'm straight ironing board around here. I weren't blessed in that department. But they was like, no, this is before she had her twins, or maybe before she had Blue, where she was still quite slim, you know. So they was like, no, remember. And with modelling, a lot of things are photoshopped. So what you see and the pictures aren't always how Beyonce looks, type of thing. So I was like, okay, cool. I'd done it. I went to London. I stand on a big podium for about 4 hours in one of her famous poses. And they took me from measurements, measure to measurements. And took photos and everything of me. And then they done the waxing. One is in London, Madame Tussauds. And then they called me back for a next one for the same thing, but for Los Angeles.
Okay.
So even though I say SB, I also say SB to the world, because even though I may have not always been around the world, some part of me is around the world. You get me?
I get it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
and she's a Virgo as well, so I'm a Virgo.
Yeah, so man.
And Virgos do beats. You get me? A bit ambitious that. Yeah, you get me.
So I also noticed, I noticed some of the videos on Instagram, and I seen you doing this acting thing where I think like you're in an air, like an army suit. And I clocked on, that's a Tyler Perry film.
We got Tyler.
So, you're in a Tyler Perry film?
Yeah, big Tyler Perry. And that's bad as well because...
Good look, man.
It is. I'm so proud because, again, the film is for the 800 women that came from America to the UK, Birmingham here, to sort out the mailing for World War II. And they had 2 years of backlog of mailing, so families weren't able to communicate with each other. Soldiers weren't able to get their letters across because there was no one sorting it out. So they brought all these black women to England here, and they done all the mailing. So Tyler Perry, they haven't got no recognition over 70, 80 years. So Tyler Perry is doing this film in honor of them. And I think there's 2 or 3 ladies left that are still alive from it. And when Tyler Perry told them about it, they just cried. You know, so we went to Bradford, we filmed in London, filmed for about 3 weeks that I was in London for filming. Early hours, met Tyler Perry, as you see him on TV and media and all that, he's cool, he's tall. Kerry Washington was there. So big up Kerry.
So some big names.
Big names, even Debbie Allen.
So what kind of role have you got in there?
We were the soldiers, so we are marching, so we're one of the extras. That are doing all the marching. You see us at the concert, the dancing scenes. I was a soldier. and a worker. So hopefully you'll see me in 2 outfits. But there was a time where the camera really came up to me and was there for about 2 minutes. So I'm just like, yeah, I hope that shot is on there. You get me? So you get
you're the director, you're Tyler Perry.
Just saying.
Or if you're listening.
Out here, it's me to the world. Yeah. And it's mad though, because I've always watched his films and I've always said, I would love to be on one of his films. And when he started doing like Sisters and The Oval, I was like, nah, I would love to be on one of them. So when they told me that I've been selected for a film, I didn't know it was Tyler Perry at first. It wasn't until he put it out to say that he was doing a film that was 688. And I was like, don't lie, that's Tyler. I was like, yes, thank you, Lord, because I know what's for me won't pass me. And, you know, I just feel like whether it's good or bad, God's got me. It's his plan. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that was a good move. I can't wait for the movie to come out. Hopefully it should be 2025, apparently.
You know when okay.
Yeah, because they've done filming in America. So you got like Oprah Winfrey in there. Okay. I think Michelle Pfeiffer. You know what I mean? Some big actors.
So it's a proper
So
thing.
it's a big thing, you know what I mean? So even if you don't see my face or whatever, I've still got my pictures to say that I was part of that, you know what I mean? My proof. So it's just
it's a good look.
It's just a good look, and it's part of history to even know that I'm part of that history.
It's a good look.
You know, so rest in peace to all the women that came over and fought for us and done their thing, and big up Tyler. Defo.
All right then. So I want to move on to now. Obviously,
serious.
Yeah. Time to bring it in and get a bit serious now. So obviously you're a mum. So you got two children.
Technically 3. First one passed away, but she would have been 20 this year.
Okay.
And then I've got 2.
Okay. 2 boys?
1 boy, 1 girl.
Okay. And that's their ages?
17 and 12.
17 and 12. Okay. So we're not going to get too deep into it because it's an ongoing thing and it's an open thing and we're not trying to... But obviously, we spoke off camera. I mean, you've been speaking and you let me know, said that obviously your son, he was a bit concerned in certain directions going down. You said that you want to come on the podcast and speak about it and you want to, you know, just to, you know, spread the message and that out there and that and enlighten the people them and the youth them and try and make them wisen up. And I said, yo, let's do that. That's what I'm here for. So, I don't know, like, it's not that I forgot. I definitely forgot you because it was only like about a week or 2 ago. But I'm doing what I'm doing and whatnot. And I've had you in mind, but then you've shouted me the other day. And you've said, yo, I need to come and speak because he's been incarcerated now. And like I said, we're not going to get into what's happened or why because it's still ongoing. And God bless you that he can come home soon.
Of course.
You understand? So, but yeah, if you just want to touch on like, not, because I don't want you to, you know.
It's just more for the mums, innit?
For the mums, yeah.
It's
more for the, like, the kind of things that you can go.
The effect it has on us as a family and as a mum.
Yeah.
You know, because, I've been a single mum, 17 years then. And, you know, my son was born into trauma. So it also can stem from that, you know what I mean?
Are you saying basically, so when the abuse was going on, was he born, this was a little child?
Yes. Sponge brain. You know what I mean?
Sponge brain.
So...
They're seeing things, they don't know what it is, but it's just going in.
It's just going in.
Right,
and they always say, you know, a child is a sponge.
Until they're 8, that's they gather their personality by the time they're 8. So.
Exactly. And I was in that relationship for about 7 years, but with my son being born, it was probably, I think I left when he was like 3. Yeah, so for the first few years, he heard a lot, encountered a lot, saw a lot, you know. From that relationship, having my son, I started getting my son into counselling. Yeah. So I went to...
Stop there. Sorry.
No?
I just want to stop you right there.
Yeah, sure.
Because this is a big thing in our community. Yeah. Counselling and therapy. Black people seem to think that we don't need it.
We do.
And we do.
We do.
Now, I obviously started to take off your story for a minute, but I've obviously, everyone knows I've not recently, I've been a few years now, but I was incarcerated for 4 years, come out of prison. And the reason why I'm like this now and doing all of this, is there was one pinnacle moment while I was incarcerated, and it's while I was doing this course, called Thinking Skills, going through like red flags and what leads to commit crime you do and everything. And me and the woman in there, Rebecca, she like we just took a like to each other, not like that, but like
of course.
She's understood me. You get me? And like I didn't realize at the time, but I was doing therapy and like I'd go over to the house like where she is, cause she'll like come and speak to me anytime you want, and I'll go there and speak to her for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it'll get to the stage like we've done one session where it's like actually a counselling session now. So she's telling me to break down my life, but no one's ever done this to me.
Yeah.
So I've never let this out. So when I'm speaking now, I'm starting to realize things that I've not even realized, like subconsciously. Wait, I went through that.
Yeah.
And then I got all emotional.
Yes.
But then you see from that,
yeah.
I swear to you, no lie, that was the beginning, of when I started to feel free.
Yeah.
And when I said, now I can start, and I can start, and I started to realize the value I have and who I am, and I wouldn't make no one take the piss out of me or get me or eradicate silly things or, but that was the beginning of it. So that thing, what you said with counselling, I couldn't go past that because that is important.
Definitely.
So, sorry to cut you there. So you took him counselling, carry on.
And it's good to know that you had it as well because he said a lot of black men don't.
Yeah, I need more. I need more.
Know what I mean? Like, I feel like we need to make more of our kids do it from a young age because whether it's they've seen abuse or not, a lot of us mums, whether it's gone through homelessness, a lot of our kids have seen certain things, whether it's their dads leave them, fatherless children, you know what I mean?
All of it,
So I took him to counselling. We've done counselling for about 4.5 years, CAMS counselling. And that's where we was able to open up. We had separate sessions, so he was able to feel free.
That's important.
To talk about what he wanted to talk about, and I could talk about what I needed to talk about. And then we'll do sessions where we could come together to bring homework home to see how we can, change the dynamics at home. So we've done that for about 4 years. I even done like parenting class because I thought, wonder if it was my parenting why he was misbehaving.
So, sorry to cut you. At this stage, how old was he now?
He was 6.
Oh, so he's 6?
Yeah, so from 3...
You're already seeing like behavioural. So is this at school then? Like if he's misbehaving?
At school is misbehaving because he went to William Cowper. Which is now called Chilwell-Croft.
In Newtown. Yeah. I know that school there. That's where Ace One went and YG. Pick up Ace One and YG.
He went
old
there.
School,
And he was getting into trouble there. The teachers were saying, Mum, Terrell's being disruptive, and he would cry and be like, I'm having bad thoughts. And, I just had like a flashback of my dad doing certain things to my mum. So they was also concerned because clearly he was acting out
there's an issue.
What he has also seen.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay, yes. So he's lashing out in school.
So he's lashing out in school.
Yeah.
So we done mainstream school for a few years. As I said, done the counselling. I went to parenting class. As I said, even we've got with my baby father, my daughter's dad, and I thought having a man in the house as well would also help my son. But my son kind of just knew like, he's got his dad.
Yeah, ultimately now this is the thing what I say, like with that situation, this is my take on it. Me personally, with that, it's not gonna work because like you said, at the end of the day, you're not my dad.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. You are not my dad. You probably can, it's not that you're not, because I've had a stepdad in my life who's, unfortunately to say, because I love my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad's my dad. No one can take my dad's place, but has probably done, in a certain time in my life, did more for me than my dad was doing. But at the same time, that is not my dad.
And my son loved my baby father. You know what I mean? My daughter's dad, like, they had an amazing relationship, and obviously we split up. So we done the counselling. From the counselling, as I said, we suggest that everyone does to try to take their kids into counselling. And then I even took him out of mainstream school because they weren't handling it, and they weren't putting things set in place.
Yeah, they don't.
For
They're
him,
just gonna tell him that it's rude. Put him in a corner.
You know what I mean?
Can make him get worse and worse.
Exactly, and that's not what he needs.
That's some prison system.
You know what I mean? And I always say, from our kids, I always say though, from our kids are 6 weeks old, we don't have no right over them. Once you sign that birth certificate, they belong to the system.
They belong to the system anyway.
You know what I mean?
And then you have to remember too. This is what I say to people. You have to realize this. This is a big thing. This is why you have to take control of your children as much as you can from because through a day, there's 24 hours in a day. Yeah? They go to school for how much of them hours a day? 6 hours or 7 hours, yeah? They wake up in the morning, you see them for about half an hour, and they get ready, and you're doing what you're doing so you don't get to see them. You take them to school, you drop them off. For the whole that day, they're at school for them hours. You're at work, whatever you're doing. If you're not at work, you probably can pick them up. If not, you probably go to after school club or someone get them. You know how the arrangement goes.
Of course.
You by 4:30, they're with you, 5 o'clock, they're with you, yeah? You go home, you make dinner. So remember, you ain't spent no time with them, you know. So remember, you go home, you make dinner. You do this, you do what you're doing. They're doing what they're doing. By the time it gets to like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they're irritating you. You don't want to, you know what I'm going to tell you? Then you have to go to bed. And they have to go to bed too, more importantly, because they got school in the morning.
Yeah.
So then, before you know it now, you are not growing your child. No. The system is, and the outside influences. You get me? So other people, who are like their age, who don't know nothing about life themselves. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're growing them, and then the system and school and what they know, and these authorities out there are getting hold of them. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying, man. Yeah.
No, definitely. And you know, I said it was hard. My son as I said, the trauma can take them from a young age. And as parents, we need to just, as I said, guide them. You can bring up your child the best way you can in it. Yeah. Once they get to a certain age to do what they want. But in that meantime, and for me, I had to get my son the help that he needed because I knew one day he was going to see his dad when his dad comes out of prison. So I wanted to make sure that he was right and emotional, stable. So when he does meet his dad. But then the system failed me because they were supposed to put an alarm in my house to let me know when my baby father's coming out of jail. Remember, this is the guy that I was in domestic violence relationship with. And they never. Yes. So his mum now asked if she could have my son for the weekend. Yeah. I said yes. But her and the police never told me that my baby father was coming out that weekend. Okay. So this is 2016. I'm just about to walk into Sugar Sweet New Year's Eve. Okay. I get a phone call from my son. Hi, Mom. I'm just letting you know my dad's at a jail now and he's saying that I'm living with him. Skirt. This man haven't seen you in 9 years. And he's just going to come out of jail and you're going to tell me that he's keeping you. I never saw my son for 10, 11 months. So in that time as well, not only did I build up my son to make him right, you've come out of jail and disrupted everything that I put into this little boy because he was so traumatized. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then you've come out of jail, done this to the boy. Yeah. The boy's come back home. And his behavior is erratic, even more. He weren't listening to me, you know, being horrible to my daughter. And the dynamics in the house changed. Yes. And this is a man that was controlling me as a teenager. So you've come out of jail now, controlled your son. And now that my son's come back home, you're trying to control my house, even though you're not there.
What you're doing it through him.
You're doing it through him.
And you probably allow him to do certain things that you
Thank you, which is a trigger.
And then what it does now, what happens is he will allow him to do certain things that you don't allow him to do. So now he becomes a favourable parent.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. So, but throughout the years, he already put his dad on a higher pedestal than me anyway, because I'm the mum that beated him. I'm not going to lie. Yes, pick if you get beat from time to time. Yeah. You know what I mean? I grounded him. Yeah. Took away certain things. Yeah. You know what I mean? So to him, I was that bad parent. Yeah. But at the same time, I taught you how to cook, how to clean. When my son lives in these support accommodations, they always say to me, Mum, Terrell knows how to clean, he knows how to cook, he cooks all the Christmas dinner. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because even then, it's been that bad that he's even had to probably go into care for maybe 2-3 weeks because it was getting that bad in the house. I needed that respite. Yeah. And I had to think about my daughter.
So what age is he at now then?
He is 17 now.
No, like...
At these times... 11 and 12. So he
started going outside now.
So he was going outside now. But remember, he was 12 when his dad came out of jail and, you know, took him and whatnot. So when he came back, his behaviour was more distraught at home and I couldn't manage it. Bashing up my doors, you know, ruthless teenager. So I said, you know what? F this. Daddy won't play a daddy. You want daddy. And I packed his stuff and I sent him back. And part of me regrets that. Because that's the part of time I'm hearing that the dad mashed up my son, basically, done bare shit to him. And
I was gonna say,
I feel
maybe,
like it just kind of went, it kind of just went off the rails.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah.
So from there now, it was just like there. I feel like I need to get back into counselling, but he doesn't want to listen to me now. I'm the bad parent. You know what I mean? He's over there now. So in a sense, I kind of lost that control over him. Yeah. So when he's doing things on the streets and when he's meeting these friends, some of these friends' mums are letting their kids do certain things that can bring in maybe a 50-inch TV, but you don't work a 9 to 5. But because my son's seen these mums allow their kids to do it, he thinks I'm a bad mum. How come I can't, fam? I want you to work. Mm-hmm. You've always seen me work. So if you want anything in life, go and work for it. So I just feel like us as mums that are going through things with teenagers right about now, we need to try and come together. Like 2 years ago.
I want to stop you before that though. You see, at that time when you're saying all this was going on, what do you think you could have done better, or what would you have changed if you could change anything around that time?
Oh, not being hurt, because I tell you something as well. I always say hurt people. And even though my son was hurting, I was also hurting, so I probably weren't also dealing with his behaviour. How I probably could have better at the times. Even though I went to counselling and certain things, there's still times
like
where
how do you mean? Like in what? Like
I don't know. I used to go do date nights with him to show him like, come on, this is me and you. What can I say?
Like when you're saying, you could have you could have done more. You mean like how could you like control his behavior more? You mean you could have been more firmer?
Yeah, because as I said, yeah, definitely. Sometimes I feel like I could be a bit firmer.
So did you used to? Would you like buy him stuff and that?
Yes, but I wouldn't spoil him to that extent because my child weren't a child that had the latest computers. I also bought 12 things like a bike, a snooker pool table, like a big one, like do things that you can go outside in but still have fun in the house with, you know what I mean? He weren't really a go out child as much until this whole situation
I asked
happened.
Because I know in my situation, like my mum felt sorry for me that my dad wasn't around in the early stages of my life, and I used to get a lot. I probably wasn't spoiled like mad, but because I wasn't rich, but I still used to get a lot. Like, I know this when I look back now. What was going on? I know what I go on. I used to get a lot. You get me? And I know that never helped in certain things that I used to do. You get me? Because obviously, a woman is a woman, you know, and a man is a man. You get me? So there's only so much a woman, especially a boy child, can punish him and so much you can say, and you kind of need that proper, firm, gripping hand of a man around, like to show them, like this ain't it.
Because women are more nurturing, and you know what I mean. We that.
It's like a woman, like, and especially with boys, mum, obviously you see it, man. It's just my baby, my son, my boy. No matter what they do, you get me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it. I get that still. I get that. So. You see, like the build up. So the build up now, because obviously is the first time he's been into prison now.
No, he's been in prison before. He done 3 months before, and that was probably about 2 years ago. It was about 14 or 15. Yeah. He's coming on 18 now. So he done about 3 months there, and he was fine in there. You know, everyone loved him. The screws and everything was like, Mom, what's he doing here? He's well-mannered, he's polite, he's this, like, he can cook, he can do this, like, we don't want to see him here again. And he came out, I got him the help that he needed with Empire Coaching. Is it Empire Coaching? I think it is. They had him for about 2 years, gave him all the help that he needed. He was working at Oakland's. He had his own clothing line called Straight Money. He loves animals, so he was even working at a vet. You know what I mean? Like, he's a nurturing guy. He's proper caring. You know, he would help the homeless.
Yeah.
So to see him, like, be in this position that he's in, for me, is very heartbreaking. Yeah. And is very disappointed because no mum brings up their child to do anything, you know what I mean, in that type of manner. Yeah. And I just feel like the world that we're living in is just getting worse for our boys, even for the girls. And as you said, this podcast today was, you know, to try and gather mothers that are going through the trials and tribulations with their teenage sons right about now, because it's disgusting. Out here in these streets, yes, when we grew up, you know, as they say, they want to connect these youngsters to the Johnnies and the Burgers. Like, it's not, if it's worse. I feel like, you know what I mean? It's peak how these kids are living. And when I, 2 years ago, I wanted to start a thing called Mums Against Gangs, but then I went to university, and I'm still at university studying business management. And when I finish, I definitely want to start back my Mums Against Gangs or Mums Against Violence, where we can come together. What can we do to change the next generation? You know what I mean? I'm hearing I'm going to be a grandmother next month. You know what I mean? So
he's got
yes.
Pregnant, so he needs to.
You know what I mean? So to know that I'm also going to be a grandmother to a grandson.
This is what I was going to say. So, like, I don't want to get too emotional, but like, how do you feel? Like, because it's like the youth, them need to know what they're doing. Like, so explain like the trauma, what it's causing you. Even the going on the visits and the traveling, the expenses. Like, just if you can, just let the people them know.
It's hard, and I feel like you youngsters, you need to take a seat, man. Just be still, because us mums are hurting, and it's not even just us mums. It's your sisters, like your little sisters, big sisters, cousins. Like, it's heartbreaking. The pain that we go through, the worrying at night. Every night, I'm worried. When he was on the street, I was worried. Even now that he's incarcerated, I'm still worried, because you just don't know what other inmates are on. You know what I mean? We can all vouch for, you can't vouch for your kids once they leave your house. Like, you really, really can't. But yeah, it's like my daughter, she has nightmares. It affects the kids. It affects the family members, like our grandparents. You know, like my grandma was crying the other day. You know what I mean? There's a possibility. It affects them bad. You know what I mean? And especially when your grandparents have one or two favourites within the family, and that favourite does something bad, and it's just like, Lord God is why you got to do this now. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you see them hurting.
And also the travelling, you know, to the support and the visits and the sending the money and making sure they got tracksuits and trainers, and it's a lot.
It's a lot. And as I said, for me, he's only just gone inside, so I haven't even done any of that yet. Yeah. Bless my nephew, he has started doing that for my son.
But look, but even though it's not you though, look though, it's on him.
It's on him. There's going to be somebody.
It's going to be somebody.
It's going to be, and they're not cheap. Like my son's foot is a size 15. Yep. So you know these trainers, Jordans aren't going to be cheap. You know what I mean? So
to get them, mate.
You know, literally. But no, fun jokes aside, like, it's serious out here, and please, if any mums are watching this and you are going through it, reach out to me. Even though there's mums that condone it, there's mums that don't, and I'm one of them mums that don't condone the fuckeries of these young kids out here, especially the behaviour of my child. Yeah, let's get together. Let's see what we can do. Get our own podcast. Just, let's do a march. Go to different areas and, put up signs, take pictures together. Me and somebody else that probably my son don't get along with. Me and his mum. Let's reunite. You know what I mean? United we stand, divided we fall. So let's get together. We have to try something, and I'm out here willing to do this. I'm willing to try. So if there's anyone else out there that is on board, just holler me. My Instagram. Google me if you need to.
What's your Instagram?
Sherelle_SB model. Yep. Or the real SB to the world. Yeah. Yeah, that's my Instagram. So yeah, follow, support the thing, and let's do this. I finish uni in September, in August. So I wanna I want to get this, and then want to get this ball in, you know what I mean? Even just get the guys involved, because it's not even just for the men. There's a lot of younger girls that are honey trapping or doing things for the guys, you know what I mean? Or young girls that want to be the bad guys. It's not a good look, you know what I mean? Because when your baby father or your man sitting in jail doing a bird, you ain't riding that time. And half the time is none of their friends is, you know what I mean? So I feel like where my son is, it's going to be an eye-opener for him.
And sometimes, you need it, you know, as bad as it sounds, you need it. So I'm saying, God willing, that it does.
I get he's innocent until he's proven guilty.
Yeah, of course. I hope that it gets up. I see with me, I swear to you, I don't even deal with that. It's whatever God wants. So if you got not meant to be in that situation and it's meant to be a lesson for you for a bit, and that's what it is.
Yeah, be still.
And that's it. You get me? So let's just pray, for him and hope that he is being still and he is holding his heights and he is reading and he's just chilling and he's thinking about what he's doing. And the main thing is repenting, showing repentance.
Trust me.
Showing repentance. That's the main thing. Genuinely in his heart and his mind.
Of course.
To God, you can't hide from. And hopefully, God willing, like I said, he should be back. You get what I'm trying to say to you? And he can, because like I say, it's never too late. You get me? We all make mistakes when we're young. And it's about learning from the mistakes, them L's, people call them losses, I call them lessons. Yep. It's all about learning from them. And not making the same mistake again, but you're still going to make a different one,
of course.
And you just keep learning. It's never going to stop.
And God forgives no matter what you do. From when you repent, as you said.
Yeah.
From when you give yourself
on the right track, you know what I'm trying to say?
Definitely. And he was a child that was brought up in the church. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is a little boy that used to open up church with a prayer, Sabbath school.
So it's in him.
It's in him. You know what I mean? And I remember one day, in counselling, he said, I think it was about 8 or 9, and he said, I find it hard to be good. I find it easy to be bad, but I do want to be good. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact that he even acknowledged it
he's
himself.
Young and he's going for a battle as well. Because what's out there, all the materialistic stuff, it don't help. So
definitely. And I just feel like as mums as well, if your son is out there, try and just say to him, come in, let's have a movie night together.
Yes.
The streets don't love you. Me and you do something together.
Things,
You know what I mean? Try and just get them away from the streets as much as possible. Because as much as they say their friends love them, not half of them friends do love them. You know what I mean? You've got your 1 and 2. But
if that,
that's it. There's no one that's going to love you more than your mother. You know what I mean? And we are breaking. There's so many black mums right about now that has lost so many children.
Sad still.
It's sad. It's like...
It's not getting better still. They need to wise up, man. They're broken the heart, the mothers.
Nanny,
everybody.
Everybody. And if you are a dad and you are in your son's life, like, hold on to them and just go and do things. Go and fix a car together.
Yeah, man.
Teach him some engine stuff. Like, I'm a woman, I can decorate. And one thing with my son, he can put up wallpaper. All them things there because I taught him. You know what I mean? As much as I look good looking, don't get it twisted, I can put up wallpaper, I do my thing. You know what I mean? I'm not workless, and that's how I raised my kids. Like, and I just want the kids to know as well, don't let your past define you. Like, I've gone through so much, and even this morning I was crying, but tears is the language that God understands. So don't feel like you're weak when you cry, because you are strong. So just let it out and just let's try and just be here for one another and inspire. And
All right then. So man, good interview, man.
Thank you.
Nice
it was good.
Here, you get me? And man, I like it. I think you got your message across, and you get me. And man. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
I will
Finish your uni. Keep doing your modeling. Keep doing your acting. And just keep growing in life, man. Keep growing, and I hope that your child comes home, and that he can learn from his lessons, his mistakes, and that, and he can move forward. You know what I'm trying to say,
man. Yes.
And I wish you nothing but the best and prosperity for the future.
Thank you.
So the Reasoning Podcast. The guest today
to the world.
SB to the world. I'm Rasnado.
Yes.
Big up C, Mad. Big up Made in Brum Studios. We're out. Mad.
This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning. Let's have a reason. This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning. Let's have a reason.